The Weight of Worry, Why Geopolitics Doesn't Belong in Your Head. Prologue, The Dead and Their Worries. Every adult who once sat in their living room, staring at a flickering television during the Cuban Missile Crisis, is either gone or close to it. The mothers who stocked canned food in 1973 when the oil crisis hit. The fathers who argued about the arms race over whiskey and cigarettes. The neighbors who thought Y2K would shut down the entire world at the stroke of midnight. All of them are gone. Their fears dissolved with them. The Cold War ended. The oil crisis shifted. Y2K passed without fanfare. Life kept moving. And now when we remember those people, we don't remember their fears. We remember their quirks, their laughter, maybe their kindness, if we remember them at all. So what was all that worry for? The long nights lying awake, wondering if a nuclear button would be pressed. The endless arguments over geopolitics, famine, debt, terrorism. For them, now buried in the ground, all of that was wasted energy. They could not change the outcome. Their worry didn't shift the course of history. And yet, here we are, repeating the same cycle. We scroll our news feeds, we rage at headlines, we worry about the next war, the next famine, the next collapse. But has worry ever changed the world? Or has it only drained us, distracted us, weakened us, until we hand over our lives piece by piece to things we can't control? This book is not about ignoring reality. It's about seeing reality clearly, that most of us will die as footnotes forgotten within a generation, that geopolitics will go on without us, and that maybe, just maybe, we can find freedom in that truth. So let's begin by asking a dangerous question. What would happen if we stopped worrying about the world we cannot move and started tending to the world we can? Chapter 1, The Endless Cycle of Fear. Fear is not new. It's as old as fire, as old as the first tribe huddled in the dark, wondering if predators would strike. But modern fear is different. It's curated, packaged, broadcast, and it comes in waves. Think back to the Cold War. Children were taught to duck under desks, as if a thin slab of wood could protect them from a nuclear blast. Families built fallout shelters in their backyards. Entire generations grew up with the hum of sirens in their ears, convinced that tomorrow could be their last. But what happened? No bombs fell. No mushroom clouds consumed the horizon. The Soviet Union collapsed not in fire, but in paperwork. And all those hours of trembling, all those nights of insomnia, vanished into history. The 1970s brought the oil crisis. Lines of cars stretched for blocks, panic buying gasoline, convinced the world economy would collapse. The newspapers shouted, the politicians warned, and yet the world moved on. The panic ebbed, oil flowed again. The year 2000 brought its own drama. Y2K. Computer programmers warned that every plane might fall from the sky, every bank might shut its doors. People stockpiled canned beans and bottled water, and then midnight struck. The clocks rolled over, and the world carried on. Again and again, humanity convinces itself that the end is near. The Cold War, the oil crisis, Y2K, the global financial crash. Each moment feels like the cliff edge. Each moment feels permanent, and yet the pattern repeats. We survive, and then strangely we forget. We move on to the next headline, the next panic, the next cycle of fear. So here is the uncomfortable question. If history shows us that most of these terrors fade into the background, why do we keep giving our minds, our health, and our lives away to them? Because fear is persuasive. Because fear has a business model. And that is where we must go next, into the economy of worry, into the systems that profit when you are afraid. Chapter 2, The Worry Economy. Worry is not free. It feels like it costs nothing, just thoughts bouncing around in your head. But in truth, worry is the most expensive currency you will ever spend. Because worry costs attention, and attention is life. We live in an age where attention is the most valuable commodity on earth. More than gold, more than oil, more than data. Attention is the resource everyone is fighting for. Governments, corporations, advertisers, even influencers. And here's the dark secret. Nothing captures attention faster than fear. Turn on the news. The language is carefully chosen. Crisis, emergency, disaster, collapse. It doesn't matter if the story is about politics, weather, or the stock market. It's always framed as catastrophe, because catastrophe glues your eyes to the screen. Social media takes this further. Its algorithms are designed to learn in real time what keeps you scrolling. And time after time, it's outrage, it's anger, it's fear. This is the worry economy. Your anxiety is their revenue stream. Your sleepless night is their engagement metric. Your panic, multiplied by millions, becomes profit. So ask yourself, who benefits when you're afraid? Do you? Does your family? Or is it the platforms that sell your fear to advertisers? Is it the politicians who rise by pointing fingers? Is it the bad actors who spread lies, knowing they can tilt elections, incite mobs, even destabilize nations with a single viral post? Worry doesn't just weaken us individually, it weakens us collectively. A society addicted to outrage is a society too distracted to solve real problems. We don't debate solutions, we retweet anger. We don't build community, we broadcast division. We don't grow stronger, we grow scared. This is why geopolitics feels so heavy in the age of social media, because it's no longer just distant leaders making decisions behind closed doors. Now it's weaponized into headlines, hashtags, and memes, designed to make us believe we're participants, when really we're just spectators being drained of attention. And so the question becomes, if the worry economy thrives on our fear, what happens when we step outside of it? What happens when we see the trap for what it is and refuse to play? That takes us to the next illusion, the illusion of control. Chapter 3, the illusion of control. Humans crave control. We crave it the way we crave air and water. It reassures us. It makes us feel safe. But most of the time, it's an illusion. Think about the last time you worried over geopolitics. A war breaking out on the other side of the world. A political scandal in a country you've never set foot in. The collapse of an economy you don't trade in. Did your worry change the outcome? Did it stop a single missile? Did it alter the vote of a single politician? No. Your worry burned calories. It raised your blood pressure. It stole your peace. But it didn't alter the course of events. This is the illusion of control. We confuse awareness with influence. We mistake knowledge for agency. It is true, there are people with power, presidents, CEOs, generals. They make decisions that ripple across the globe. But the vast majority of us are not at that table. We are not in the room where those choices are made. We are like villagers watching a game of kings. The pieces move across the board, armies advance, treaties are broken, and we convince ourselves that shouting at the board will change the play. But does it? Or are we simply distracting ourselves from the truth? That our lives are lived on a much smaller, much more human scale. Here's the paradox. Once you admit how little control you have, you gain power. Not global power, not geopolitical power, but real practical power, the kind you can touch with your hands. You cannot stop a war, but you can welcome a refugee into your community. You cannot reverse climate collapse, but you can plant a tree, reduce waste, help your neighbor insulate their home. You cannot control a corrupt system, but you can live with integrity, kindness, and courage inside your own circle. This is where agency actually lives. Not in distant boardrooms, not in echo chambers online, but in the choices you make in your immediate life. And here's the most liberating thought of all. One day, you will die. The world will go on without you. And in that light, what do you want your limited energy spent on? Fear of forces you can't move? Or building something that matters to the people you actually touch? Once we see through the illusion of control, we can stop throwing our lives away on what we cannot change. And only then are we ready to face the next great trap. The tools that profit from keeping us afraid. Chapter 4, the social media trap. Once upon a time, fear spread slowly. A newspaper headline, a radio broadcast, an evening bulletin at 6 o'clock. Today, fear spreads at the speed of light. It flashes through timelines, pings in group chats, explodes in hashtags. It doesn't just inform us, it overwhelms us. Social media was supposed to be humanity's town square, a place where we could connect, share ideas, build bridges across oceans. And in moments it is, but in its darker corners, it has become something else entirely. A megaphone for outrage, a marketplace for lies, a battlefield where bad actors fight not with bullets, but with algorithms. Think about it. In the past, propaganda required printing presses, radio towers, or state-controlled television. Now, all it takes is a meme, a bot network, or a carefully engineered video, and millions of people can be swayed in a single afternoon. Do you think history can't repeat itself? Look closer. Nationalism, scapegoating, conspiracy theories, the same poisons that fueled wars and genocides in the past are back, wearing the new clothes of social media trends. And the platforms, they don't care. Division drives engagement. Engagement drives profit. The longer you argue, the more ads you see. The more you rage, the more data they harvest. This is the trap. You feel like a participant in history. You feel like your posts and likes are shaping the future. But in reality, you're a product being sold. Your fear, your anger, your distraction, all harvested, monetized, weaponized. And yet beneath the noise, the possibility still flickers. The possibility of community, of peace building, of using these tools not to divide, but to unite. It is buried, but it is not gone. To uncover it, we must shrink the circle, to see what is truly ours to carry. Chapter 5, Shrinking the Circle of Concern. The Stoics taught a simple truth. Focus only on what you can control. Accept what you cannot. This is not weakness, it is strength. Your circle of concern is vast. Wars, economies, politics, disasters. But your circle of control is small. Your actions, your words, your choices. When you confuse the two, anxiety is inevitable. When you align them, peace is possible. Consider this shift. Instead of asking, "What if there's a war?" ask, "What can I do today for someone within arm's reach?" Instead of worrying, "What if the economy collapses?" ask, "How can I live more simply, more resiliently?" By shrinking the circle, you do not ignore the world. You acknowledge it, but you also admit that your power lives in the here and now, not in distant headlines. This clarity prepares us for the next truth, that we ourselves will vanish sooner than we think. Chapter 6, The Forgotten Within a Generation. One day, you will die, and soon after you will be forgotten. Your name may live in the memories of children, perhaps grandchildren, but beyond that, the world forgets. History swallows us whole. Even the mighty are reduced to footnotes. Depressing, perhaps, but freeing? Absolutely. Because if you will be forgotten within a generation, then your worry is meaningless. But your kindness, your contribution, your love, those ripple outward, even if your name does not. This is not a call to nihilism. It is a call to focus. You do not need to be remembered forever. You only need to live well in the sliver of time you have. And that brings us to the practical shift. How to turn worry into contribution. Chapter 7, Turning Worry into Contribution. Worry is wasted energy, but energy can be redirected. Instead of doom scrolling, plant something. A tree, a garden, an idea. Instead of raging online, mentor a child, support a refugee, call a lonely neighbor. Instead of waiting for the world to collapse, build something that lasts, even if only in your own backyard. This is contribution, small, local, immediate, but real. And though it seems modest, it ripples. The refugee you welcome raises children who thrive. The neighbor you help finds the courage to help another. The kindness you give does not die with you. It multiplies. In the end, you can live as a spectator of geopolitics, drowning in fear, or as a participant in humanity, building what is good in the brief time you have. Epilogue. Beyond worry, toward agency. Geopolitics will go on without you. The world stage will rise and fall. Wars will be fought, treaties signed, economies built and broken. You will not stop it. You will not control it. But you are not powerless. Your circle is small, but it is real, and within it your choices matter. So stop rehearsing the apocalypse in your head. Stop donating your life to fears that dissolve with time. Live where your hands can touch. Love where your presence can be felt. Build where your contribution outlives you. The future will unfold, with or without your worry. The only question is, what will you do with the time you've been given? The end. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, ring the bell, and tell your friends about my listening library.